welcome back. Happy Wednesday. It is indeed Wednesday already, halfway through the week. Hopefully you guys are doing good, amazing, absolutely stupendous, outstanding, terrific, man. So, why do F1 tracks have curbs? I never knew it was spelled Kerbs. I thought it was just spelled curbs, like Curbs. So, it's the second time in F1. I thought so like for example, it's tires. It's Tyres, not Tires. Now curbs is Kerbs. I would never guess that, but hey, I'm all for it. Very, very happy. Pretty cool actually. Pretty cool about that. First thing first. Not really any much really F1 though. I think everybody's just on vacation. Everybody's just relaxing. I haven't seen Lewis Hamilton. Snow sledding, sledding down. Skiing. I say skiing. Absolute brain fart skiing. So that's pretty cool. Shout out to WTF1 with the video. So let's go and check it out. Hopefully this is pretty interesting. Shout out to somebody that did recommend this. And let's go see why do F1 tracks have curbs. So I'm just gonna say that I'm not really sure, but I do think it's probably just for safety type reasons. Hopefully this video tells us a lot more about what really goes down, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Let's get started. Don't forget to like the video and sub as well, always if you are new to the channel.
Why do F1 tracks have curbs? I was sitting there one evening, popped on Twitter and asked all of you what you'd like to see next on the WTF1 YouTube channel. Well, thanks to I Am Salah, we've decided to answer why Formula 1 circuits have curbs. They're an incredibly important part of a racetrack, especially when it comes down to safety. So how do we define...
Told you, what did I say? Safety first. That's why I was assuming. It's because of safety reasons. Now, that may not be, that's probably like the main reason, but obviously this video is going to tell us a lot more reasons why.
Curb or curb. There's basically two different ways of spelling it, and I never know which one it is. I'm pretty sure it's K-E-R-B for me. Anyway, they are primarily there to slow down the best drivers in the world at the very fastest of corners. For fear of bringing up the massive talking point from the Bahrain Grand Prix, it also shows the drivers very clearly in usually a distinct white and red colour pattern where the designated limits of the racetrack are. However, when there isn't grass or gravel past the exit curb, we of course get problems of track extending that the stewards have to deal with. Now, I mentioned exit curb. That's the area of the track where the driver would be leaving a corner and accelerating out. Exit curbs will usually have a washboard designed to reduce adhesion should a driver place their Pirelli tyres on them, which helps...
Okay, so I'm not sure if they use color signs for a specific reason, but it's a lot of memes. It's not really telling. I mean, they kind of are if you really listen to it. So obviously safety, and because from watching races, when they do go over the curbs, obviously your car's gonna be bumping, stuff like that, which is makes sense because they're trying to protect the driver, stuff like that, which I'm all for. You guys know me, driver safety first. You know me, man. Captain Chaz. Gotta keep drivers safe, man. We seen some.
Track limits somewhat because if it's slower, a driver won't go there. Of course, you also have the entry curb, which will be found on the apex of the corner. The apex is that thing I'm pointing out right now, just so you know. Okay. Sometimes the drivers will touch these curbs with their car, not their wheels, and sometimes they won't. It all depends on what harm they could do to their beloved F1 car with the size and height specification for that particular Grand Prix. It's worth mentioning that they aren't all the same. You'll have raised curbs, which drivers absolutely do not want to touch with a barge pole, and then others that are basically just painted lines on the racetrack and are there to be cut and driven over with only time to be gained.
So, like he said, so I'm assuming that every track has not different curbs, because he said we have like an elevated curb and one that's just painted over. So I'm guessing each track has has different, different curb sets. I'm guessing, assuming, if that makes sense. Probably doesn't, but if that does make sense. So my only thing is, I think with like the elevated curves, like the ones that like the apex, like those sharp turns that we see in I can't think of like a specific track off my head. I can't think of like a specific track, but there's a track that that have like a very very sharp turn. I can't think of one right now. You guys will probably know, but my only thing is about the elevated ones, or like whatever. Like if you go over it, obviously your car can kind of get a tad bit airborne and like obviously crash and stuff like that. Not really a fan of that personally, but it's just how some tracks just have it. So
this is where the driver's track walk really comes in handy as they analyse with their race team the subtle changes that
God, they be walking the whole track, man.
Last time they raced there.
Get them steps in.
Height of curbing or runoff area being adjusted and so on. It can all help to get the driver up to speed quicker when they know exactly where they can push to the limits and gain time. Right, come on, why are we still having this conversation? You haven't subscribed to the WTF1 YouTube channel yet. The F1 season has begun. We're pumping out Formula 1 content. Please subscribe now. Love ya. Now, it wouldn't be a video about Kerbs if we didn't mention the dreaded sausage curb.
Sausage curb.
This invention to prevent drivers running wide at high speed has caused a huge amount of debate among the drivers and teams when it comes to both safety and damaging of the cars. I did mention at the start of the video that curbs are primarily there for safety.
Right.
If a driver runs a little wide, they aren't dipping a wheel onto grass or gravel, but on a curb which is there to essentially save them from having a potentially big crash. Sausage curbs, however, are a completely different ballgame. They're called that name for a reason. They're long and they're raised, and they have caused some almighty crashes. One that comes to mind is Alex Peroni at Monza from F3 in 2019. He was incredibly lucky to walk away from that incident.
Jesus Christ, did you see bro's car? Like, golly, like, jeez. That was kind of scary. That was I mean, just from that picture, man, like, yeah, if they can find a way to, like, change it, maybe potentially, or just adjust it in a way. Sausage curbs. That's an interesting name.
Austria Turn 9 and the penultimate corner in Abu Dhabi are other examples of these dreaded curbs, although Austria have since removed theirs, probably because Christian Horner was saying they cost the team £250,000 worth of damages in FP1 from 2019. All in all, curbs are a useful tool to improve safety, giving the drivers useful reference points over the course of a lap, as well as keeping them in check so they don't go taking the mickey with track limits. More modern tracks have gone for the flatter curb approach, which I'm not personally a fan of. I'd rather have more raised curbs to define track limits so that we don't have to deal with track limit warnings from the stewards every race weekend.
Oh, good. Listen, if it's less, just voiced from the FIA, stuff like that, I'm all for it. You know what I mean? I'm all for it. If it's definitely, I mean, if they change that rule because of Christian Horner, man, I mean, come on now. Like Christian, it's not just you, bro. I'm guessing a lot of other teams, the McLarens, the Ferraris, stuff like that, they probably have had to spend some money as well for the cars potentially hitting it. I mean, I don't think F1 specifically changed just for Christian Horner, but come on, my guy. Like, come on, my guy. Like, I was going to say something, but I'm going to wait.
What do you think about the current state of curbing at F1 circuits? Let us know in the comment section.
Oh, that's pretty much it. Okay, well, let me share my thoughts on it right quick, which you guys probably care about, probably like about. First thing first, great video. Interesting video. I don't know if it really hit on a lot of the main details, potentially. You guys will probably know a lot more about that than me. But I think with the curbs, like I said, the safety part, because I couldn't even imagine back then, drivers, there's the track, and then right next to the track is just grass or gravel or stuff like that. I personally don't want to, like, the grass is freaking dang near touching the track. That was probably real ugly, real just gross back then. Like, I couldn't even imagine you trying to turn a corner, and then next thing you know, you are so wide, half of the car is on the grass and half of it is on the track, which can possibly lead to, tires, because who knows what's in the grass, you know what I mean? So that, even gravel, the rocks getting into the tires, stuff like that. potentially causing a puncture, just depending on how big the rocks are. So with the Kerbs, I'm all for it. But I think, I mean, it's not. I don't know. It's a weird thing because it's something I've never ever really thought of. So it's hard for me to like really have like a very very fair answer. You guys let me know what you guys think about it in the comments down below. But like I said, if it's for driver safety, man, like I said, I'm all for it. I'm all for it. Probably the sausage ones in which them sharp turns that we see doing some racers, probably not. But the thing is, what would you replace that with though? If you didn't want the sausage curb there, whatever, KERB, what would you want to replace that with? You know what I mean? So I can see drivers' frustrations with it. I can see fans' frustrations. Well, I can also see the good in it. But if we're getting an incident like Bro had at Abu Dhabi in F3, then I don't know if I can think of an incident that happened this year regarding a curb. But the thing is, like drivers turn when drivers are turning corners and stuff like that. A lot of times their car is on the curb for at least a second or two before they're able to get back on the track. So you guys let me know your guys' thoughts on it, man. Like I said, it's a good video. Can't really, wish kind of talk more about it. But anyway, hopefully you guys did enjoy the video. Don't forget to like the video and sub as well as always, man. You guys let me know what you guys want to see next. We do have I do want to go back to the David Coulthard's, we did the Mickey Hackinens, we went about David Coulthard, stuff like that, and Irvine and them boys. And probably some other F1 drivers, so maybe we can go back to more seasons. F1 season is not here yet. It's going to be a minute. You guys miss it. I miss it. But appreciate you guys as always, man. Stay safe. Stay amazing. Talk to you guys later, man. Peace.